My name is Ashley Robinson, and this is I Believe. I believe that your home is where your heart is. Throughout my entire childhood, I could not wait to leave my hometown, Seattle, Washington. I was desperate to see new things and become my own person. During my senior year of high school, my mom and I traveled to faraway colleges in states such as Alabama, Colorado, Kansas, Oregon, Texas, and more. In the end, I chose the University of Oregon due to its familiar climate and distance from home, while many of my peers chose the University of Washington, located 2 minutes away from my house. I was excited to move 300 miles away from Seattle. 4 weeks was the longest I had ever been away from home, until college. College was a new experience where I felt that I was able to grow as a person in the absence of my hometown. Living in a single dorm room, I was responsible for taking care of myself without any kind of supervision. Suddenly, I had no one looking over my shoulder to make sure I was going to class, eating healthy, or cleaning my room. As I began to grow into my new self, I couldn't help but feel that a small part of me was missing. This void bothered me for some time over the course of my first year. I tried to mend the uncomfortable feeling by joining a number of campus clubs, working out 5 days per week, getting a job. However, nothing worked. Eventually, freshman year came to a close, and all of a sudden, I was back in Seattle. Summer began to fly by, although I couldn't help but feel that a void was still inside of me. After a few weeks of summer, I felt a strong urge to take a trip. I brought the idea up to my mother, and she suggested a staycation. Once upon a time, a staycation was one of my favorite things to do with my mom as a child. In summary, my mother and I defined this activity as acting like a tourist in our own city for 3 days. The following week, my mother and I embarked upon our 3-day staycation. Over the course of 72 hours, we visited the Space Needle, the waterfront, Gasworks Park, Bainbridge Island, Pike Place Market, and more. As we visited each landmark, an old memory would pop into my head. Memories such as singing Happy Birthday at the top of the Space Needle, collecting my favorite balloon animal on the waterfront, hosting a candlelight vigil for a close friend at Gasworks Park, or visiting my favorite babysitter at Market Spice and Pike Place Market. As each memory came back to me, I began to feel more and more emotional. At the end of our staycation, I began to cry. I was overwhelmed by a surge of emotions that seemed to occupy my entire body. The next day, I woke up and felt incredible relief. Unfamiliar with this new sensation, I abruptly realized that the void no longer existed. Today, I believe that a person's love, affection, and fond memories will always be tied to the place they originally lived. This is I Believe.